Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining me today. As a strategist working right here inside the Tata ecosystem, I literally spend my days geeking out over what makes our businesses tick. And today I get to pull back the curtain and share a real boardroom briefing on one of our greatest consumer victories. We are going to look at the playbook behind Titan. It's a true masterclass in engineering a $31 billion empire from absolutely nothing. 61,000%. Yeah, you heard that right. That is the staggering return our stock has delivered over a 22-year period. Just to put that kind of wild scale into perspective for a second, a mere 100,000 rupees invested in Titan a little over 2 decades ago would be worth over 60 million rupees today. This isn't just growth, it is astronomical value creation on a scale you very rarely see in the consumer sector. But here's the crazy part. This success, it was far from guaranteed. Actually, we weren't even legally allowed to play the game at first. So the question we really have to ask ourselves to understand this incredible trajectory is this. How exactly did a company that was originally barred by the government from making watches manage to build a $31 billion lifestyle ecosystem? It's a strategic dilemma that honestly, every business student and entrepreneur out there should be studying. So here is our briefing agenda for today. Spotting the market gap, the Tamil Nadu partnership, jumping to quartz technology, redefining the retail experience, building a lifestyle ecosystem, and finally, innovating the future. All right, let's dive right in. Section 1, spotting the market gap. Okay, we really need to rewind a bit, back to the late 70s and early 80s. The Indian economy back then was heavily centralized, incredibly restricted, and foreign brands were completely locked out. In that era, if you wanted a premium watch in India, you basically had one legal option, the government-owned Hindustan Machine Tools, or HMT. Just look at this. Out of 1.5 million watches produced annually in the whole country, HMT alone manufactured 1 million of them. They were an absolute, undeniable monopoly. But here's the kicker. The demand was so massive that HMT couldn't even come close to keeping up. Wait times were literally months long. People would actually show their wedding invitations to shopkeepers just to beg for a watch in time for their marriage. No way, right? Our team looked at this and saw a massive supply-demand gap. It was a gold mine just waiting to be tapped. We quickly realized that HMT's approach was purely utilitarian. They sold heavy, mechanical, time-telling tools, but our visionary leader, Mr. Xerxes Desai, saw things differently. He saw that watches were fundamentally an accessory, an instrument of love, a status symbol. While HMT was stuck in this utilitarian monopoly mindset, our vision for Titan was to be aspirational, stylish, and highly technologically advanced. We weren't just going to tell time, we were going to sell an entire lifestyle. Of course, a bold vision like that required serious executive backing, and it got the absolute ultimate stamp of approval from our legendary chairman, J.R.D. Tata. When this idea was pitched to him, he didn't just look at the profit margins. He looked at it through the lens of national pride. He declared, "I want the finest watch in the world, totally made in India." Talk about setting the bar high. It was a clear mandate. If it wasn't going to be world-class, we simply weren't going to do it. Section 2, the Tamil Nadu partnership. Now, as with any truly great business story, we hit a massive roadblock pretty much immediately. The central government simply refused to grant a private company a license to manufacture watches. That was the government's turf, period. So, what did our team do? We engineered a totally brilliant, kinda sneaky workaround. First, we formed a low-profile private entity called Questar Investments to fly under the bureaucratic radar. Then, we approached the state government of Tamil Nadu, specifically TIDCO, the Tamil Nadu Industrial Development Corporation. By creating a joint venture between Tata Industries and the state of Tamil Nadu, we formed Titan. This brilliant public-private partnership essentially forced the central government's hand, and we secured the exact clearance we needed. And then there was the location. We could have set up our plant anywhere in the country, but we deliberately chose Hosur in Tamil Nadu. Why? Because it was barely an hour's drive from HMT's headquarters in Bengaluru. It was an absolute masterstroke of corporate audacity. We built this world-class manufacturing ecosystem right on our biggest competitor's doorstep, which allowed us to easily attract and poach their seasoned experts, all while training up thousands of locals. Section 3, jumping to quartz technology. All right, so the factory is built. Now we had to decide what exactly we were going to make. To leapfrog the incumbents entirely, we knew we had to bet on a new technology. HMT was producing mostly mechanical watches. We decided to bet our entire infrastructure on quartz. And if you look at the engineering data, it proves exactly why this was the right move. Mechanical watches had over 100 moving parts and lost 6 to 12 seconds every single day. Quartz watches? They had fewer moving parts, making them way easier and cheaper to manufacture, and they lost maybe 5 to 15 seconds in an entire year. They were slimmer, they were lighter, and they were practically maintenance-free. Quartz was undeniably the superior future of watchmaking. And wow, did that technological bet pay off faster than anyone could have predicted. By 1989, just a couple of years after officially entering the market, Titan had captured an astonishing 55% of the entire quartz watch market in the country. By embracing the next technological curve, while our competitor was just sitting there remaining stagnant, we completely disrupted the entire industry. Section 4. Redefining the retail experience. Now, here's the thing. A beautiful watch is totally useless if you don't revolutionize how it's actually sold. So we launched a retail revolution. The traditional distributors actually refused to carry our watches initially, out of loyalty to HMT. Our response? We bypassed them entirely. We went straight to the retailers and offered them significantly higher margins. We built our own exclusive, air-conditioned showrooms playing soothing music, which, let me tell you, was an absolute rarity in 1980s India. On top of that, we enforced strict zero-credit financial discipline. That meant dealers had to pay up front, which kept our balance sheet incredibly healthy. And remarkably, our early ads didn't even feature celebrity models. We just let the magnificent design of the watches speak entirely for themselves. The absolute crucial point of our retail strategy is captured perfectly in this philosophy from Xerxes Desai. A product is not just what you make, it is what people feel. This is exactly why our frontline salesmen weren't just trained to observe other watchmakers. Nope, they were trained to study premium sari shops, Raymond stores, and high-end jewelry boutiques. We realized something profound. We weren't just in the timekeeping business, we were in the gifting and emotion business. Section 5. Building a lifestyle ecosystem. Okay, so once we dominated the wrist, it was time for the scale phase of our strategy. We took everything we had learned about retail, premium design, and consumer trust, and we aggressively diversified. In 1995, we launched Tanishq, completely revolutionizing the heavily unorganized jewelry market. We brought in transparency by introducing the carat meter, a machine that instantly proved gold purity right there in front of the customer. Then in 1998, we noticed the youth definitely didn't want to wear their parents' watches, so we launched Fast Track. Fast forward to 2007, we entered the eyewear market with Titan Eye Plus. We systematically expanded our reach to cater to every demographic, every age group, and every price point. And that ecosystem strategy leads us to this incredibly surprising data point. Despite our origins, despite our namesake, and our absolute dominance in the watch market, watches today make up only about 12% of our total revenue. Let that sink in. The remaining 88% is driven by jewelry, primarily the absolute juggernaut that is Tanishq, and our other lifestyle brands. We successfully transitioned from being just a watchmaker to a massive, diversified retail powerhouse. Section 6. Innovating the future. But as you well know, a good strategist never rests on past victories. We have to secure our legacy and prepare for the next wave of disruption by constantly pushing the boundaries of engineering. Back in 2002, our team achieved the impossible by developing the Titan Edge. It was the slimmest quartz movement in the world, and it was also water-resistant. We proved to the whole world that made in India doesn't just mean assembly. It means cutting-edge global innovation. And honestly, over the last decade, we've made this incredibly passionate, strategic return to mechanical mastery. We're now developing our own in-house automatic movements. We even recently launched our own tourbillon, which, if you know watches, is one of the most complex, gravity-defying mechanisms in high-end watchmaking, and it was entirely designed by us. We followed that up with the Jalsa, this gorgeous high-artistry timepiece inspired by the architecture of Jaipur. We are blending Swiss-level technical standards with deep local Indian artistry. And the best part? We are keeping 85% of that manufacturing strictly local, right there in Hosur. But as we look out to the horizon, the battlefield is shifting once again. Tech giants and software-based smartwatches are rapidly rewriting the rules of the wrist, very much like we did to HMT back in the 80s. So I want to leave you with this provocative thought. In a world where the watch is now basically a computer, how will the Titan Playbook evolve? How are we going to jump to that next curve to ensure our legacy remains truly timeless? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep analyzing, keep innovating, and I'll see you in the next briefing.